All right, Freak Nation. Kyle, don't call me Kirkwood, joining us here in the Freak Nation. And Detroit is just a bitch, man. When the camera's over your helmet, looking at your hands. First of all, can I see your hands? Do you have any? Do you have any
No,
blisters?
maybe. Wait, this side. Sorry, maybe
Yeah.
a little one, couple of little ones right there. It would have been right hand, more so than anything. But no blisters here today. I got through all of them at Long Beach and Barber and Indy GP. That's where it's brutal. Then your hands like build up a tolerance as the season goes on, and then you don't have blisters after a handful of races. So fortunately, through that tough spot.
Hey, when you run a 500-mile race versus a street course, something like this, where is the pain in your hand? Where's the pain level versus each other? You understand what I'm asking?
Yeah. You don't really get pain. You don't have time to think about the pain that you have. You obviously get tired, you get a little bit weaker, but you don't notice any pain or I guess like burning sensation or anything like that. You're just so focused on keeping the cars between the walls, and you can get hurt if you hit one of them. So you don't think about pain. That's not even something. I've driven with a broken hand before. Been very sick, and you get inside the car and everything changes. So you tend to not focus on the negatives.
Wow, you don't think about pain. That's not what normal people would go through. I think
it's what most drivers say the same thing, though. Have you guys ever asked other drivers about that, or no?
I don't think it. No, I don't believe.
Yeah, we all think the same thing. Like, being inside a race car is like one of the best times when you're actually in pain, because you don't think about it. You're so focused in on everything that your brain just like blocks out all pain receptors whatsoever, and you're just making sure that you're doing the best that you can in your craft. Of course, you have weakness, and there's things that you can't overcome physically, but you forget about the pain, which is the worst part, right?
Wow, but of course, IndyCar drivers aren't athletes. NASCAR drivers aren't athletes. Yeah, whatever. That kind of makes me wonder about your summer grind. All I can think about right now is coming off, obviously, the Indy 500 and then this brutal street race in Detroit. Now you're into your summer grind. What is it that you have to overcome, if anything, mentally and physically, to bounce your mindset back and forth from street circuits to ovals to road courses? Are there challenges that you really have to overcome?
Yeah, and that's what I love about IndyCar racing is we have everything, right? We have oval racing, street course racing, where we have some of the bumpiest, slowest tracks in the world, right here in downtown Detroit, and then we go to Gateway, which is like a beast of an oval where we're pretty much flat out around that place and the highest power and highest downforce level. So and you have to bounce back and forth between these disciplines, and it makes it really hard to it would be so much easier if we just did a bunch of street courses and a bunch of ovals and then a bunch of road courses. It'd make things so much easier, but that's not how an IndyCar is built. You got to be able to adapt and change, and it's what makes the series so much fun to drive for.
Kind of like you just said with pain in the cockpit, you guys just don't feel it. You just work your job as effortlessly, seemingly, as possible. When it comes to the summer grind, do you like that? Does that also kind of get you up on the wheel a little more because you're constantly grooving?
You know what? You're just, and you use the right word by saying it's a grind, right? You're just grinding through it, and you don't recognize how much it's beating up on you, how tiring it may get, how little sleep that you're getting between everything, how much anxiety that you have just constantly through those 6 or 8 weeks that we have. And you love every moment of it. It sounds bad, but it's not. You love every moment of it. So I'm looking forward to the bulk of our season here coming up.
It's why you're so good at what you do. Real quick, to bounce back to Detroit, your teammate was on the pole, Colton Herta. He had mentioned that he purposely had wanted to kind of bunch the field up a little bit, heading to the green flag in order to try to avoid melee, avoid chaos going into that first turn. However, it almost sent you into chaos. Did you guys discuss that heading into the race morning?
No, we didn't. We discussed where we wanted to go, which is a normal thing for teammates to do. And I didn't anticipate him hitting the brake that early, and I also didn't anticipate Lundgaard just flying through the inside of both of us. So maybe a balancing act of both, where Colton was a little cautious, trying to keep everyone at bay, didn't realize that we can actually go 3 or 4 wide there. I thought like him that if we just covered the inside and we were just kind of 2 cars wide, that nobody would be able to pass us, which it worked out perfectly to our plan. But Lundgaard came from a mile back and just decided to send it in on everybody. And it semi worked out for him. Almost didn't. It could have ended in a lot of tears at the front, but you know what? You got to do things like that sometimes at street courses to get things done. And hats off to him for trying it. But it didn't put me in the best of positions. I actually lost ground because of it. We should have came out second after that start, and we came out 4th or 5th or something. So that was kind of brutal, and then kind of just a train of events where I kept getting passed afterwards. So unfortunate, but no, we still clawed back at it, right? So I can't be that upset about it.
Yeah,
exactly. Arguably, then that makes this win even more rewarding because you really did work for this.
Yeah, I think so. I heard somebody say that this was the most laps led that in any race that I've ever won, but it didn't feel that way whatsoever. We were on the back foot a lot of times in the race, and whether it was strategy, the times that the yellows came out, that start, the times that we had to pass people, the wing damage, it wasn't a straightforward race whatsoever. So glad that we put on a good show for everybody, although it just gave me a lot of stress while I was in the car.
Are you a fan of the pits at Detroit?
The pits, I actually like them now. Yeah, I used to. I thought at first I was like, "That's so dumb. That's not right." And now I actually love them. I think it's really cool because you'll look across and see what other guys are doing from your position. That's what I like most about it is you're able to be in your lane and you can kind of see like when other guys are going to go or what they're changing on their cars, and you can kind of have like an idea of what people are doing, which is an interesting aspect. It's not something that you normally have the opportunity to do, especially if you're in the car or you're an engineer on the stand. You only see your car and that's about it.
Freak Nation, Kyle Kirkwood, winner from Detroit, joining us here in the Freak Nation, IndyCar winner. Do we make too much of the fact that we believe there should be an oval after the Indianapolis 500, meaning Worldwide Technology Raceway versus a street course?
You guys would rather see Worldwide Technology Raceway over Detroit?
Well, yeah,
I disagree.
That's why we make a big deal out of it because we're not damn drivers, man.
Yeah.
You are. What do you prefer?
Yeah. You know what? I like the format that we have. We kind of bounce around, and this goes back to what we talked about earlier, where if it was a bunch of ovals together, a bunch of street courses, and a bunch of road courses, it'd be a little of a boring format, and it wouldn't force the drivers to be very adaptable. And yeah, so I like this format. I like going from one of the fastest courses that we go to the slowest course that we go to, and then we'll go back to something that's really, really fast again, and then something that's kind of medium speed again. And I like that. I like that it changes things up. It creates a new discipline for drivers, and you have to be adaptable to do well in this championship because of that. Because if you just had every single circuit being like kind of tapered or somewhat of the same in bulks, it'd make it a little bit easier on guys to kind of get more in a rhythm. So this is almost like it plays with your mind a little bit, and we kind of like that.
There's so many drivers that are fan of Worldwide Technology Raceway and the uniqueness of that track. Where does Kyle Kirkwood sit with Worldwide Technology Raceway?
I've not had good races there, although I do love the track. I think it's next to the Speedway, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, that is. It's my favorite oval that we go to, although it's only one of 3 ovals that we go to. So I like it more than Iowa or Milwaukee, too, I should say. So we got 4, right?
Nashville.
We got 4 ovals that we go to. Oh, 5.
Nashville.
Wow, I'm really messing up here. You know, I really like Nashville, too. I don't know. Gateway is so much fun to drive. Sorry, I'm losing it. This has been a long day.
Good.
And you know, it's my second favorite on the schedule. We're better at Nashville than we are Gateway, but Gateway was such a fun race last year for the very short period that I was in it. It promoted the best passing that we've seen in a long time there. We increased downforce for the first time in a long time, and it made it a really fun race. And we look forward to going back there.
But it's always fantastic when you roll in the Freak Nation, man.
Yes.
We like the scruff on the face. Just keep that.
Thank you.
Right?
It's rolling pretty good right now. Yeah.
Solid.
It's a winning scruff.
All right, brother.
It is.
Congratulations on the win, man. Thank you.
Thank you so
Dave,
much
for doing this. See you, buddy.
See you. Bye.